I'm outside. I like to record outside, and um, my feet were getting really cold, so I went in and got some socks. And the first socks I got was these Naruto socks that I got recently. So I'll share that on Boruto Club later. The picture of my socks. All right, we're gonna get started in like 2 to 4 more minutes. So stay tuned. What's up, Wantanana?
Yo,
Hey, welcome back.
what's up, bro?
I just put on some Naruto socks.
It's just Naruto on them or somebody else?
It's just Naruto.
Dang. I think I need some Boruto socks.
For real. Bro, everywhere I go, I try to find Boruto stuff, but I can't find it anywhere.
I just got like a bunch of Boruto hoodies, shirts.
From Shonen Jump?
From Devin the Lab.
No.
He's like a basketball YouTuber, and he got anime merch. He got a lot of Boruto merch. So I just bought like a bunch of stuff.
So Shonen Jump, actually very soon I'm just gonna go buy it. Shonen Jump, they have Boruto 2 Blue Vortex merch. And I posted on Boruto Club that I received it, and I got a few things that were dope, like official merch. And I realized I should just buy everything else. So I'm gonna buy the rest of the merch from. I'm gonna have every single piece of things that they release on the Shonen Jump store. I'm gonna have all of it.
I want to look at it. I'm about to look at it.
It's fire, bro. The brown Kawaki hoodie is like so underrated. I feel like, bro, it's so good.
Underrated. You'll never catch me wearing no Kawaki merch. Imagine.
Oh my. We need an episode here with Kawaki stands versus Boruto stands.
Nah, it ain't even that. Never mind. I'm gonna look it up though. I'm gonna look it up.
No, it's fire. I'm gonna get all of it.
I'll never rep Kawaki merch though. Never. Hold on.
Bro, they have the craziest thing on there, the most expensive thing on there, and I got it was the 10-tail service jacket. Absolutely crazy.
10 tails? I want to see. Hold on.
No, that's the name of the product. Boruto, he meant it's like you'll see it. All right, we're gonna get started real soon. For everyone that's joining in, thank you. We will be reviewing chapter 20 today, which was pretty hype. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of leaks, so getting to read a chapter without leaks is great. So much hype. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I cried when I finished the chapter.
You cried?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, you're not talking. Because you was on live and you made the stream lag because of your reaction.
Bro, it was like, come on, bro. It's like, really? No. It's because the cliffhanger, bro. I mean, I was crying. Was like, bro. It's okay though. It's okay.
That was so funny when we seen it.
It was okay.
I was there too. Everybody was like, "Oh, the stream lag." Because what were you doing? Were you like moving your phone around or throwing it?
I think I was hitting my keyboard.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right, cool. So for everyone joining, just gonna remind everyone that we host the Boruto podcast here, and it goes straight onto our website, straight to Spotify and YouTube. We are part of the Boruto Club. You can literally Google the Boruto Club. You'll probably see it. It's top of Google now. We have all of our links in there. We have 2bluevortex.com. That's our blog. Your theories can get posted on there. We have a lot of things. And I just put Boruto Legends on there, which is a Naruto Boruto roleplay website. That just went up on there, and that's still getting adjusted a bit, but that's pretty much solidified, and I'll be announcing that in 2bluevortex.com on the blog. So yeah, all right. So if everyone wants to pull up chapter 20, and we'll get started on reading it. So welcome to the Boruto podcast. Today we're here with Watch Boruto and Boruto Fan and the 2 Blue Vortex X community. We're reviewing chapter 20 today, and the chapter is called Because of Love. And the cover is Konohamaru. And I think there's a lot of people complaining, saying they really want a Konohamaru on the cover. What's interesting is if you look at him on the cover and you look at the headband on his arm, there's a different symbol there. I can't say I recognize it.
Yeah, what is that?
Let me see.
It's like a...
pull it up.
Nah, that is different. I don't know what that is.
I think it's just some drip designer, like, just making it look cool for the cover. It's like they used AI.
What?
Hold on, is he wearing it in when he's... Hold on.
Is it the Senju? I mean, not the Senju, the Saratobi? Let me see. Mine isn't loading. I don't know why. It's not loading for me.
It has to be something like that, because what else would it be? Hold on. Let me look. Let me see. See, wearing it right here. Okay, so he always wears it.
Yeah, that's just the Saratobi thing.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's something else. That's Saratobi. It looked
Is
like...
it in the chapter though?
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
he's like
that's
he
design.
he always wears it. I think he was reading like the other chapters too, or wearing it the other chapters too.
Well, we better see that in the anime. They better not miss that.
They don't. I mean, it's not too many people that are two different headband wearers
Yeah.
already. It's either you're a shinobi with whatever village you're in, or you just don't have one for most characters. I don't know of too many that rep everything that they are. Boruto do though. That was the whole purpose, to put all the pins when people were complaining, talking about, oh my god, they're just over adding stuff. It's all meant for a purpose.
Yeah, Tanya said that's a Saratobi symbol. Mark said it
Yeah.
might be a clan symbol.
Yeah, that's a clan symbol. But see how they wanted him, right? Konohamaru on the cover last month because it was called Konohamaru-chan. When really it's better that it's not, and it's Matsuri on the last cover, and then Konohamaru on this one. Because in this chapter, we're gonna get to it. It's an exact scene where Konohamaru-chan and Matsuri are involved. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, I don't know why people. I thought it was obvious. I thought they already noticed the pattern. The person of interest for the chapter, in terms of the title or whatever, is just gonna appear the very next volume as the cover. It's been a pattern of that where, I don't know, let's say it's I don't know who could be like, it's a Boruto chapter, right? It's primarily about Boruto, but Boruto ain't on the cover because he's gonna be on the next one. It's that simple. But I guess they didn't see the pattern. I've been seeing it. Go ahead.
So starting off, we go to page 2. And it starts off with Matsuri having pretty much her like wood style cloak over Konoharu, and he's like dying. Like, he's about to get chopped up.
Yeah, he getting fried.
He's bleeding already from his mouth, is everywhere.
Well, yeah, it's stabbing him.
Yeah, Matsuri's like, you whine way too much. Will snapping your neck shut you up? Or would you rather keep chatting right up until the moment I devour you? I'll let you choose, Konohamaru-chan. And then the next page, we see a little flashback from, what's his name? Shikamaru, yeah. He says, become friends with them, win them over, tame them while these wild beasts are still innocent couplings. And this is the beginning of the chapter, and we're getting this flashback. So he says to Matsuri, didn't you say earlier that getting to talk so much made this the best day of your life? So he says, if you devour me, I'll die and then we won't be able to talk like this ever again. So, in Naruto, it was always kind of like cringy, like, oh, like this person likes this one or whatever. But this seems like it's a really important in this little arc right here. The love triangle. And this seems like it might be, this can also relate to the other Shinjus maybe too.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's buying time, but he said if they get devoured, he's going to die. He doesn't even know that. That's just what they assume. Because Sasuke's still good, for as we could tell. Gaara is still good. That's the whole point. They're over here. They're trying to save Gaara.
The Shinjus want to eat them, right? The tailed
Gaara,
beasts.
Shinky, I said Gaara. Shinky saved Gaara. But no, Shinky, I'm tripping.
Sasuke got bit by the tailed beast.
With the claw grime?
And then the claw grime, then turn into a tree. This is a Shinju. They literally want to eat these people.
So you're thinking it's different.
I think they literally want to eat them though. But watch for it to
we
think
still
something.
Haven't known. I'm thinking it's just gonna be an army. Like this one needs that one needs this one, and then they just pop out another one. Because I don't know, it just seems like why would they, right? Take 4 characters because they already took 4 when they separated the tailed beast, and then they became the Shinju. They took 4 characters. They got 4 characters in return, and then if all 4 of them eat 4 more, that's 8. But if they die and they don't get Shinjufied, it's still 4. So it's unbalanced equation. But then again, that's also just me not wanting nobody to die. Because I already know if that happens, oh my God, what is Boruto gonna be thinking?
He gonna blame himself, even though it's not his fault.
Exactly.
He would blame himself. Yeah. Honestly, I won't lie. The previous chapters, I was thinking like, wow, someone's gonna actually die here. But I think this chapter, we'll see what happens. But moving on to page 4, Matsuri says, yeah, it was fun, sure, but it was simultaneously terrifying. It felt like my sanity was slipping away. He says, you're dangerous to me. You make me crazy. That's what has become clear to me. And then she says, and they're face to face. This panel right here at the bottom of page 4 is really cool. How she's having them face to face. And she says, my defensive instinct tells me to eliminate the danger. Conversely, there's the part of me that desires you as they mix together. And she says on page 5, I feel compelled to devour you. And this panel right here is absolutely crazy. They got the Japanese, it's crazy. They got the
kanji.
What do you call? Is it kanji? Yeah, they got kanji, and it's like this scene right here. We see Matsuri digging that wood style into Konohamaru's back.
Digging in, bruh. She got him on his toes, bruh.
Yeah, no, literally, he's on his toes. Wow. And she's just sitting there. So on the next page, we move on from Konohamaru and Matsuri onto page 6, and it's back to Matsuri and Team 7 and Yodo and Araya. So we see Ryu blasting his ability with the Iron Sand, and Araya is fighting him, and he does a wind-style sandstorm blast. And we see
that's an upgrade. That's an upgrade right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've seen him do wind style.
Yeah,
that is pretty cool.
He was like a puppet.
Exams. He was a puppet master, or not master, but a puppet user. He fought Sarada in consequently. And then the next time we see him is what? In the time slip arc, right before they go back in time, when it's just they're on the present day. And at that point, I think he was who was he fighting? Because he was with Shinki and them, and then Shinki went by himself with Team 7, or really just Boruto. But I don't remember him using wind style in that either. The only one that did wind style in that, other than Boruto, was Shikadai. Because y'all seem to forget, he's not just Shikamaru's son. He's Tamari's son. Master wind style. I remember she was like, in the Fourth Grade Ninja War, I'm the best wind style user here, or something like that. And then boom, Naruto come up.
Right.
But yeah, so we haven't seen him use wind style or even have that affinity from what I remember. So, some random training. Cool. I don't know. We gonna see in the anime.
It almost reminds me of like Avatar: The Last Airbender. This panel right here, straight up. But at the bottom of the page, on page 6, we see the iron sand getting blown away by his wind style. But then, obviously, the iron sand overpowers it and goes back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it goes back and continues, and it actually hits him, and he falls to the ground. And then we see Yodo.
I thought he dodged it.
Did he dodge it?
No, hell no.
No, he got
hit him in his face.
Yeah. It looked like he dodged it.
And then we see Mitsuki with the Sage mode. And so it's Mitsuki Sage mode versus, Snakes versus Ryu's Iron Sand. So we're on page 8. And this right here is crazy cool. This is absolutely like fire. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this was the first sneak peek, right?
Was it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It was, bro.
This is the first sneak peek panel. But look at the power difference right here. So Araya, he clashing with the Iron Sand. Iron Sand overpowers. And then from right here, Mitsuki is clashing with his Iron Sand. I'm about to say Shinki. Ryu's Iron Sand. And he either bypasses it or clashes with it and, overpowers it. But either which way, the snakes are going past. So you could see the power level that they're trying to show. Araya is right here. And whatever Mitsuki is, it's at least higher because he actually clashed and then overpowered it, put in Ryu on the defensive.
Wait, can we talk about how Ryu just doing this with his hands in his pocket?
Well, he took his hands out once Mitsuki started throwing them snakes, but yeah. And that too, right there, more serious. He was fighting Araya and them with hands in the pocket. Now Mitsuki goes Sage mode, starts counterattacking. Oh, let me get my hands out. Hold on now. Extra serious. But he also did that because he could control people with like puppets with it.
We just see them clashing with the snakes, and we see Arya comes in and tries to. What happens here?
Oh, that's him using him like a puppet.
Oh, he is using him as a puppet.
With the sand, so now he can control him. He drags him in front of the snakes.
Yeah, so he took control of Arya. Then he takes control of Mitsuki.
Well, he hits Mitsuki.
So all he has to do is hit him.
Yeah.
And then we see on page 10, Mitsuki goes flying.
Yep. He gets out of Sage mode. Willingly or not, it doesn't matter. He's out of Sage mode now.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. So he's out of Sage mode. Sarada's watching. And then all of a sudden, Mitsuki's body starts rising.
Yeah. Wait.
And
Mitsuki, am I tripping or do Mitsuki look like Boruto a little bit right here? Like the Boruto before he
They
cut
were
his hair.
saying that. Mm-hmm. Before he met Koji.
Yeah, when his hair was long a little bit.
Yeah. Shout out to Ikimoto. Page 11. So we see this panel right here is so cool. It includes a claw grime, Ryu, Arya, and Mitsuki being controlled by Ryu. And Ryu says, "Looks like checkmate, my friends." And Arya says, "Yodo, Saria, forget us. Just save yourselves." Ryu literally starts like choking him right there. He says, "Stop saying stupid things. I'm not letting any of you escape." And then he says, "Then again, just killing all of you here and now doesn't make sense to me either." So on the next page, page 12, Ryu continues and he says, let's do this. Otsutsuki Boruto, or even his accomplice, tell me where either of them are." And he says, "Any weaknesses would be cool too. In fact, share whatever intel you have on them with me. And then I'll let you go, all of you." And Mitsuki says, "Don't fall for it. I bet he'll kill us regardless. Just run."
He restrains him, puts one around his throat.
He did the same thing he did to Arya, where he chokes him out. He did the same thing on the throat. So on page 13, Ryu says, "I'm offended. You're the ones who broke their word first. Don't let me in with you." Yoda says, "Sarada, tell him where Boruto is. You know, don't you?" And she says,
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
That right there. He said, "You're the ones who broke their word first." So I was saying this, like, however many chapters ago it was, whenever she jumped at this fruit, at the little, or not fruit, but the thorn bulb, right? Whenever Yodo jumped at the fruit talking about, oh, and then he was like, "I knew it," flipped on him. I was saying this, it was not Konohamaru that sold the mission. Literally. I was saying this whenever it happened. Konohamaru is not the reason now they gotta fight him. It was Yodo, because people were bashing Konohamaru, talking about, "Oh my god, he can't do nothing." What do you mean? What do you mean? And then, with this chapter, we know exactly what we mean. We were right. He says they, not Konohamaru, they, is in, Yodo and them, broke their word first.
Right.
But that was just me. I felt vindicated when I read this the first time, because I was like, "Oh, see, look, I was right." It's not him who messed up the mission. It was Yodo and them.
Yodo she was messing it up.
And it just makes sense. They really try to act like Konohamaru is dumb or something. Like, come on now. He has a plan. He's always had a plan. Matter of fact, look at the first time we see him fight, I guess, an enemy. Not really, but an enemy. When he first fought Kashin Koji, right? They clashed. He didn't know nothing about the enemy, right? He was like, with Rasengan, and this is not a scientific ninja tool. This is actually a Rasengan. Then he also had this and that and this, whatever. But once he got hit with that little lightning jutsu that Kashin Koji has, where it restrains everybody, he undid his shirt, had a seal on his belly or stomach, and then choom, got himself out of it. He always has a plan. But they were acting like, oh, now, all of a sudden, he's just not going to have a plan for it. He had a plan, and this is the plan. This chapter is exactly what his plan was. But I guess
Konohamaru is he's so underrated.
I know. It's because they want to lie about what he can do or what he has done.
But the other thing is they don't really they don't let him shine. They don't let Konohamaru shine.
No, they definitely do.
Well, in the latest chapters, it's been all about him. But I'm saying, like, we don't even get to see him with the monkey summoning. Like, What's this about? You know?
I mean, in the anime, but a lot of people don't like to consider that canon for some reason. So they look at it like it's garbage. So they're not going to see what they want or what they think they want.
Yeah, they say they want these things. It's in the anime,
But
and if it's not, it probably will be, because how are they gonna have the time skip? No, we're just gonna wait.
Right.
But
So,
yeah.
continuing on, page 13. Sarada responds to Yoda saying that they're going to be slaughtered if she doesn't give intel. Sarada says, "Don't be ridiculous. How can you believe him? It's got to be a trap." And she says, "What other choice do we have? You're okay with staying silent and getting killed?" And then Sarada says, "Sorry, but I won't sell a friend out to save myself. Not that I even have any intel to share about." Then it's a little flashback Sarada's having of Sumire. Sumire just found her way into this chapter. She says, "We may have taken Boruto's side outwardly, yet we know almost no crucial intel about him. But isn't it because of that we've been able to live freely like this?" So they're bringing back a point where she was saying, yeah, they don't have intel, but because they don't have intel, they're living freely without being fates of singularity or whatever.
What? No,
You know,
I saw that
that's
as snitching, because she said, "I won't sell out a friend to save myself," right? And then Sumire is talking about, oh, uh, they don't have any intel, so they good. They're not in danger because they don't got any intel. So, but when she said, not that I even have any intel to share, that means even if she did, she still wouldn't snitch. We know this because that's another reason why the anime is better, right? In episode 19, it's the around the beginning of the Shinichi arc. She's just walking around, right? Boruto's messing up, or not messing up, but messing with Naruto. He's pranking the Hokage statue again, right? Boruto, is trying to get chased by his dad, and then at some point he lands next to Sarada, hides under a manhole cover, right, just in the middle of the street or road. I don't know what they would call it, sidewalk. He hides in the manhole cover, and then he tells Sarada, shh, like, don't say nothing, right? Naruto lands, and then he says to Sarada, did you see where Boruto went? Or, like, whatever, right? And then instead of her telling, right, because this is episode 19, remember, episode 19. They're friends, but it's complicated. And actually, she says that too in episode 2. In episode 2, when Iwabe and Boruto are about to fight, because he calls them out on a fight, right? Chocho is like, oh, he's your friend or something like that. And then she's like, oh, it's complicated. Our parents are friends. And so she doesn't know really, right? And it goes back to this chapter. I mean, those 2 episodes. Episode 2 with her questioning what they are, right? What their relationship is. And then also episode 19, because when Naruto asked her where Boruto went, she knew, right? This is the exact scenario of what she's just saying right here. Selling out somebody to save themselves, even though she's not in danger from Naruto. It's just, where did he go? Right? It's no, I'm gonna kill you if you don't. Just tell me. But then it says, I don't even have any intel. Now she does have an intel in episode 19. She saw him literally go inside that sewer or manhole cover, whatever. And she said, he went that way and pointed the exact opposite direction where. And then Naruto said, all right, thank you, Sarada. Launched off. And then Boruto, was appreciative of that. He noticed that. You ever see those games where it's like, this person will remember that? This person remembered that. Boruto remembered that of her not selling him out. And this ain't even the first time.
That's a great point. And you know what? That's almost foreshadowing, isn't it? From the anime.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But this ain't even the first time it happened where Boruto just acknowledges and appreciates what she did for him when everybody else was against him. So in episode 10, right? And these are all early Boruto episodes. How could you skip these? But either way, in episode 10, they're still worrying about the ghost, right? That's what Boruto calls it. Later, we find out it's just Nue's chakra thing, chakra snake that's biting people and influencing them. But he's trying to look for this ghost, and the entire day, he can't find nothing. For some reason, the ghost is just not popping up no more. And he comes across Sarada. She's like, "What are you doing?" She has to go do training with her sensei. I don't remember which sensei it was that she was talking about because she calls everybody sensei. Real studious type. But then she talks with Boruto. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go do something," because Boruto sees the actual ghost possessing somebody. The whole day he hasn't seen nobody. Now he sees somebody. He has to go. And then Sarada's like, "Hold on, now we're not done talking." You know how it is. And then we see Boruto fighting the person that's possessed. It's Kagemasa, so the movie actor or the movie character in universe. His actor got possessed because he's been gaining weight and he has negative emotions because his movies are on hold because he has to gain or he has to lose that weight. And then the fight happens. Boruto's looking like he's about to die because he got pinned up against the wall, and then the Kagemasa actor is about to throw a big ass like rebar or pipe, whatever, at him, and it'll hit him. And then Sarada throws a kunai, knocks it out the way. And this is how you know she really is the greatest in that class. Even though we already knew because they said it that she's the best shuriken jutsu person. She threw a kunai, made it miss, and then Boruto was like, "Oh, you're here, right?" She's like, "Oh, thanks for saving me." And then he's like, "So you believe me, right? So you believe me about the ghost?" Sarada don't know nothing about a ghost. She literally says, "Well, I don't know nothing about a ghost, but I know you're not a liar." So that's another time, and this is episode 10. That's another time where it's showing us when it's Boruto against others, she will always pick the side of Boruto, whether it be believing in him when nobody else will, or not selling him out to the detriment or not the detriment of others. So it just all ties back, especially episode 19. Go watch it. It's like 5 minutes in or a little bit later. I don't remember because the intro or the opening, I mean. But right there, he's hiding, literally hiding. She knows where he's at. Just like how Rio is asking of him. And she says that way, the wrong way. Damn,
Well, I gotta say, well said. Watch Boruto. Catching the episodes and the foreshadowing. And that's exactly why they brought this point up. We're on page 14. That's exactly why they brought this back up. This flashback. Everyone's getting PTSD today on chapter 20. Konohamaru did too. But this is really important. And if it keeps showing up like that, that just lets us know like how it's probably going to be in the future, probably too. But Yodo responds with, "I've long wondered why you keep sticking up for a rogue ninja who sought by his village for committing serious offenses. But I think finally now. Why does it say it like that?
Yeah, it's messed up. I think the
some of the translations are not great. I was having trouble earlier in the episode with some stuff. But she says, "Huh?" And Yoda says, "He's the kind of guy who makes you want to have his back, even if the rest of the world hates him, right?"
As I was saying, believe in him when nobody else will.
Right?
And
That's exactly, yep. And this is on the same page spread. These are back to back.
Yeah.
And Sarada, shocked, speechless. And she says, I feel the same about Shinki. So that's interesting that she has the same relationship with Shinki. And then Rio says, hello, you still there? So what you say, should I go ahead and kill you? So we're back into the mix with Rio. And Yoda says, hold up, Ryu. The problem is that we don't have any intel on Boruto. He says, I see. So no ability to negotiate. And she says, not so fast. If you be amendable, you can have me instead. I'll cooperate with you using my enemy detecting abilities. Sarda's shocked. And she says, Yodo. And then Arya says, you idiot. And on page 17, she says, I'll start gathering it for you now. I'll get you whatever intel you want, and in return, you'll let the other three go. And that's at this point, it hops back into the Mitsuki Konohamaru scene on the same
Matsuri.
page. It hops in, or Matsuri, yeah, Konohamaru Matsuri scene. And I just want to mention that that this is like this part right here where Yodo's telling Ryu, I'll sacrifice myself for all of them. In my head, it's like he'll still kill them. It's not a sacrifice. He'll still get killed. All
Yeah,
of them.
that's the art of negotiation. You hold up your end, I hold up our end. But you already showed me you can't hold up your end, Yodo.
Right.
Specifically, Yodo, the one that jumped out the second she saw the
Right.
corn bulb. So, she's in no position to talk, literally, as he said, right? No ability to negotiate. But he'll still hear out the proposition, and then when, later, we know what he does.
Yeah. So hopping back into the Matsuri Konohamaru scene on page 17, we see it's the wood style still going into his back. Konohamaru, his face looks agonizing. Matsuri has a straightforward face. And then on the very next page, page 18, a tear starts to come out from her eye. And she says, what's this? Dripping from my eyes. And Konohamaru is screaming and yelling. He says, Matsuri. And so Konohamaru's like, okay, this is an emotion we can tap on. And on page 19, she says, my heart, I think she's talking to herself. My heart is racing just from him calling my name. Why? And what is this liquid pouring from my eyes? And Konohamaru says, you're shedding tears. What's going on? She said, tears? Konohamaru said, you must be feeling sad, which means you don't want to kill me. And then on the next page, we see Jura and Hidari. And what was Bug's
Mabushi.
Mabushi or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see them all right here. And they're just listening in. So they're like, I guess Jura's watching. Jura's crying, actually, on this page. Page 20, we see Jura crying himself.
You know what
I
this
think
remind
this...
me of? It remind me of
What?
Jigen.
Mm.
How Jigen, once he fought Naruto and Sasuke in the other dimension, and that's when Sasuke got away, Naruto got sealed in that little tea kettle thing, or I don't know what it is. It looked like ramen bowls, which is funny, right? Naruto, literally an ingredient in ramen, inside some ramen bowls, sealed. But after he popped out, right, and left them, or left Naruto in the darkness, Jigen start crying, right? Literally Jigen, not Ishiki. And this is when they reveal it's actually Ishiki, and Jigen is not Jigen. Jigen is controlled by Ishiki. But it reminded me of that, how another person could be crying and they notice it. Juro noticed it from Matsuri, and Jigen or Ishiki, I guess, noticed it from Jigen. So it's a connection there, just like Jigen. Obviously, with Jigen and Nishiki, it was literally him inside his brain controlling him. And then for them, it's probably like how the Pains do it, where they can see through each other's eyes because of the Rinnegan. Or it's even more than that. It could just be because he already said, right? They're one being, but they also have different consciousness. They're a hive mind, but they're also separate entities. So it's one of those.
Yeah. But this is very interesting that they showed us Jura crying. That's very interesting. So page 21, Matsuri says, tears? What the heck are tears? And what is going on with me? And Konohamaru says, Matsuri, do me a favor. Could you squeeze my hands? So now we got Konohamaru rizzing up Matsuri, 100%. So page 22, she says, huh? He says, let's join hands. That's how special relationships start. And Matsuri says, special relationships? And Konohamaru is like, yeah, that's right. It'll be the first step for the two of us.
That's first base right there.
Yeah. And then we see them, we see Matsuri with her long black nails, and she's grabbing his hands on page 23. She's grabbing his hands, and they locked hands, and she says, so warm. So she's really happy about it. She's blushing. And then Konohamaru then gets a flashback from Shikamaru, and he says, Konohamaru, become friends with them, win them over, take them while these beasts are still innocent couplings.
Tame
and then, yeah, or tame them. And then we hop onto the next page. Next page 25, absolutely crazy. We see a Rasengan forming from his hands, and we just see Matsuri's fingers ripping to shreds. And then this whole page, we just see two Rasengan, both of his hands Rasengans. And then this is so badass. If on page 25, if you look down at the bottom, you see Shikamaru. He just says in bold, betray them, and he looks pissed. And when we look at this scene right here, Konohamaru looks like Ashura. He really does. I'm not gonna lie. Is Ashura, my bad. What was his name?
Asuma?
Asuma, that's right.
Like
he looks like Asuma here.
His uncle. You talking about Asuma, right? The one that died?
Yeah. He looks like him. And it's interesting that they had Shikamaru involved with it as well. Yeah, my bad. Asuma. In this panel, with him fighting his angry face, he looks like Asuma. Which I think was a pretty cool piece.
Bro, how I forget they was related?
Yeah, they're both Saratobi.
Yeah.
I think what is Mirai to Konohamaru? If
that's his cousin.
Cousin, right?
Yeah.
How about to say nephew? Hell no. Cousin. Yeah, they're cousins right there.
So on page 26, Konohamaru is like giant Rasengan, and we just see two giant Rasengans absolutely destroying Matsuri. And it says, at the bottom we see Shikamaru saying, did your heart reel just now? And then he says, this is a perfect plan if you truly, and then it says ... and then it says, get them, consider them nothing but foes to drop.
You're reading that wrong. It's consider them nothing but foes, get them to drop their guard so you can
you're right.
It's right to left.
Okay.
And
consider them nothing but foes, get them to drop their guards so you can kill them. Yeah, it was a little confusing. To kill them. So that's from Shikamaru. And then we see Matsuri says Konohamaru-chan, so she's still,
And see, that panel right there was what I was saying earlier about the cover, right? What chapter was it last? chapter. It was titled Konohamaru-chan. Who was on the cover? Matsuri. So when these people say, oh, it's about this person, this chapter, they should have been on the cover or whatever. No, it's an intentional decision. They literally showed us, without showing us clearly, what's about to happen with her on the cover, and then the title literally being Konohamaru-chan. And then now, this chapter, we see the payoff. Her literally telling Konohamaru-chan, probably in a soft, girly voice, obviously.
Dying voice.
Boom, reaction.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a great point. So page 28, we see Jura talking to Hidari and Mamushi, and he says, because of love, Matsuri wavered over devouring him and allowed him to trick her and deliver a painful counterattack. And also because of love, Sarutobi Konohamaru fell prey to doubt and foolishly let victory slip away from his grasp. And we see Matsuri still attacking with her wood style.
Her whole legs and lower body is gone. It's just
look at her face, though. Look at her face, too. She's angry.
Yeah, her forearms are gone. Now she only has the... Is that the forearm, or which one is the forearm? The upper body, or the upper part, or the lower part before the elbow? Whichever one it is. But she's like quadriplegic, because no legs and then no hands or arms. That's how much he did to her. And it was off guard too.
But this panel, this scene right here is so badass. Like, when they do the anime, it's Jura narrating.
Yep.
And I'm kind of hoping Jura has the same voice actor as Jigen.
Nah. The same. I don't think it should be the same.
Nah.
I don't think it would be the same.
Because then, right, until the chapter where it's like telling us, oh, he's nobody's prototype, right? When they first told us who each of these Shinju are in relation to who they devoured to become them. They were like, he's nobody's Shinju. So if they did do a voice actor we already heard, they'd be like, oh, well then it's this person's, It's Jigen, but in a Shinju, as a Shinju.
Very interesting.
It would probably have to be the Ten Tails.
That's what I was about to say.
I'm pretty sure there's no literal words spoken from the Ten Tails. I'm pretty sure it's just monster noise. Monster noise.
They get that original monster voice actor from Shippuden to come voice this.
It hasn't been too long. They might still be around.
That's crazy. That's a lot of respect, though, to go that far for it. That's a lot of respect. They did that
for all the Boruto characters, or all the Naruto characters in Boruto, right? Like, they brought back the exact same people, except for who was it? Was it Jiraiya? I think Jiraiya's original voice actor passed away, and then they had to use another person for it. I forget who it was, but it was one of the original Naruto characters, voice actors that passed away, so they had to get a different one, and then just try to do their best at matching the voice. But so long as they're around, I'm pretty sure they'd be up for it, and it would be very good to do that. They'll show a sign of respect. Like, imagine
Naruto a lot of respect.
Wasn't Naruto. Like, imagine Naruto wasn't Junko Takauchi. It was somebody else. Then hell no. So they got to bring him back.
Yeah. Okay, so, and by the way, I just got to say, on this panel right here on page 29, when Jura says, fell prey to doubt and foolishly let his victory. So at the top, that top panel, if you look at Konohamaru, there's literally like the wood, like giant pieces of wood spikes, like going straight through his body. And if you look at,
it's
it's from the back.
Behind, yeah.
Okay.
It was from what
I was about
he
to say.
Was doing earlier. He just blew it off, and the chunks remained in him. It's still
imagine like the splinters, like
that's one big splinter. That's hella big splinters.
Dude. Oh boy. Okay, so on the next page 30, we see Yono getting
Donated.
yeah, literally she gets thrown away by Ryu
Well,
with
she
the
gets
iron sand.
impaled. She gets impaled
Is
almost.
it impaled?
Hell yeah, going in and out. You
Okay.
know, entry
Oh,
wound,
she is.
exit wound.
She is. No, she is, because on page 31, moving on to page 31. Well, first, page 30, we see Yodo's face with blood coming out of her mouth. And then we see Mitsuki Sarada shocked. And then we see Yodo on the ground on the next page, and she has blood coming from her back. And we see Sarada running for her. So then Ryu says, "That'll be a no thanks. Please don't talk down to me. I get annoyed so easily."
And see, that's
And
the proposition. She was like, "Let me take me instead. All right, I'll take you." Literally, Chung killed her, or well,
literally, yeah.
lethal hit. Um, and she should have known this. You know, she's acting irrationally though because it's for Shinky. But she should have known this. But you broke the word first, so you expect him to trust you now? Hell no.
Right.
You know.
Sarda says, "Hang in there, Yoda." And Arya says, "Damn it, you bastard." So Yodo is on the ground and she says, "Why can't things go well for once?" Sarda says, "No way." And Yoda says, "It's okay. I know that I'm done for."
That's sad right there.
She's,
Because you could
and
probably hear her body like start to shut down, like the heart rate lowering, blood rushing.
yeah.
You know, just the body. She could hear it all. Like so.
Yeah.
Damn. But what does she
And
mean? Why can't things go well for once?
I guess there's been, I guess, in the Sand Village and growing up, there hasn't really been peace in the time that they
Hell
call
no.
peace. I
It
don't
just
know.
means no. It just means that something else happened that we haven't seen yet, and we're gonna find out. And it probably was just a mission, though. If anything, it was
You're saying
probably
we're gonna
just a
see a
mission.
flashback?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be something like that. And if they don't do it in the manga, guess what? Anime is right there for it. Um, so I wonder what if it was a mission. I want to see what mission that is. Even though we already know, because we read the manga, it'll go wrong. It'll still be good to see if how it goes wrong exactly. So then now we know. Oh, that's what she was talking about with
Mm-hmm.
why can't things go well for once? That means multiple times something went wrong, whether it be, and I'm assuming because she messed up this mission, it'll probably be again her fault in whatever, if it is a mission, in whatever thing that didn't go well the last time. But yeah, she says I'm
Yeah,
done
that would
for.
be interesting to see. That, yeah, that's good for like the anime. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
If any producers are listening to this from the anime, you guys should talk to Watch Boruto and helping you guys produce the anime to make it perfect.
I
But
mean, hey,
continuing,
it's literally just it's one of those. Leave the door open. Make yourself at home. Literally, that's
yeah,
what they did already in the previous part one. They did it in part one a lot too, where they made on purpose, right? Because it's all on purpose. They act like, oh, it just happened because no, it didn't happen just because. But on purpose in part one, Boruto Naruto Next Generation, the manga, they would have these, you know, periods of time that are just blank, not literally, not like the blank period with Naruto, but I mean like just gaps in the timeline where they hint at something or whatever, and then boom, the anime fills in that spot. Like one of them was the when they were still in the household, when Kawaki was still in the house before Kashin Koji had like infiltrated and left. Before he left, there was a time slot or a period of time where something could happen, and they filled it in. What happened? It was Kashin Koji like trying to find some type of information on shinobi of the past and that's where Kakashi and team, what's their team number? Inoshikacho. I just call them Inoshikacho. I forget their number.
Is it Team 5?
I think it might be Team 5. Inoshikacho and Kakashi are trying to find the infiltrator because they know it's somebody in the village and they're about to get away. And then it's a wild goose chase for the infiltrator, which is Kashin Koji. And then that's also where Kashin Koji faces up against Kakashi. It wasn't even a fight because Kashin Koji already tricked him. He had done his smoke jutsu and got away. But either which way, that time period right there was a gap that they inserted in, and it'll pay dividends when future events happen. That's also why there's people out there. I don't know why they do it. Well, I know why, but it just doesn't make sense to me. That just immediately dismiss something if they don't have a direct and immediate payoff for why it's there. Like, my guy, you're already complaining about, oh, it's monthly, it needs to go weekly, and then you're then also complaining about the weekly anime because you gotta wait a week for the rest of whatever the story
Team 10,
is to play
by
out.
the way.
Team 10?
They said Team 10. Mark said Team 5's won't medal Lee.
Oh, yeah, that's Denki.
Mark said Team 10. Yeah.
Okay, well, either which way, they want these immediate payoffs, and it's like, my guy, do you not know what buildup is? Do you not know what setup and what a lob is? They're lobbing it up to alley-oop dunk, and it hits way harder. So that right there, that's just one example. It's multiple. Even just look at the most popular example of it, right? Car actuation arc. That's where it was Deepa and Victor and all them. The first instance we see of Victor, he's about to die. Kashin Koji kills him, and then boom, right? And then in the anime, right, that was the manga. In the anime, we got a whole arc of him trying to do the divine tree. And then Jigen even comments about it at the end. But that whole time of before they were spoon-fed why this matters, they were complaining and complaining and complaining. And it's just like, damn, boy, y'all are not smart. Y'all are not smart. Y'all really think these people write shit for no reason. This is not Naruto's anime. This is Boruto's anime. It works different with Boruto. And that's really why they're mad, but that's a different topic. We could do that another day.
Community talk, yeah. Okay, so getting back on track, on page 32, at the bottom, there's these panels, and it has Saradas screaming at Yodo because she's basically dying right there. And we see the Iron Sand go and touch and grab Saradas' shoulder. And Sarada is like upset with that. And then she makes some type of noise. And then on page 33, Ryu says, last one in the bag. Now you're all obedient puppets of mine. And he's like chuckling. And this was an important part about Sarada. This Iron Sand has now touched Sarada. Okay, so we see Yodo's like pretty much dying. She says, Sarada, I'm not sure why it's happening now, but I can hear it real well. And on the next page, she says, you don't know yourself at all, do you? She says, your feelings, why you want to be strong. I can tell right now, it's clear to me that you misunderstand. You're probably deluding yourself subconsciously. Sarda says, what are you talking about?
All right, so hold on. Look, this is another one. This is another one. When I read this the very first day it came out, it was just like the snitching on Boruto part earlier in the chapter, where I'm like, oh my God, this is the anime right here, right? We already know with that one, that was episode 19, manhole cover. He went that way. He really didn't. With this one, what she is saying, what Yodo is saying, talking about you don't know yourself at all, your feelings, why you want to be strong, whatever, whatever. And then she says, you're deluding yourself subconsciously. And Sarada asks, like, what are you talking about? We know what she's talking about. It's the heroine syndrome. Heroine as in female hero, not the, that.
Yeah.
But in the anime, I'm pretty sure it's the same episode, either 19 or 20, right? This is why you got to go back and watch. Either 19 or 20, but I'm pretty sure it's 19 because by 20 they would have already left the village. So Mitsuki is, you know how Mitsuki had this trope of him just popping up out of nowhere, always inserting himself. He did it a lot early when he was in the academy, and then he did it a couple more times after. But there was this trope. In one of the examples where he does it, Sarada and Chocho, this is the Shinichi Heart, Sarada and Chocho are talking, and Chocho's talking to Sarada. She's not even really listening, but Chocho talking about some, hey, I don't think my parents are my parents. Because this is when she thought Choji wasn't her dad. And then, she's just talking. Sarada really not even hearing nothing. She is, but not really, not paying attention like that. And then Mitsuki, boom, pop up out of nowhere. And they're like, oh, that's heroin syndrome. And then he's like, well, they're like, what are you talking about? And then Mitsuki explains it. He says, it's a condition that happens in young little girls when they try to define who they are, right? And then the rest of that entire Shinichi arc, we don't see Mitsuki because they leave the village to go find Sasuke, whatever Shinichi fight ends. Once we come back, they explain more. Mitsuki explains more about that syndrome, and it's just like delusion. It's a delusion that they have because it's when Chocho found out, oh, that it really is my dad. Choji is my dad. And then Chocho is talking their ear off again. And then Mitsuki has to pull her aside, talking about some, come here with me, come over here with me. She's like, oh, you want to ask me out? But Chocho's too funny. She's like, you want to ask me out? And then he says, oh, your syndrome seems to be far more advanced than I thought. Something like that, right? But it all goes back to the syndrome thing. Girls, this is how he explained it. Girls trying to define who they are. And then now it's you don't know yourself, your feelings, why you want to be strong, right? This is all, characteristic definitions of Sarada. Like, why is she even trying it? Well, it's part of her character. Why? I don't know. And then deluding yourself subconsciously too, because that's another thing that Mitsuki had put emphasis on, that it's a subconscious thing. You don't even notice it. It's just going back to that. When I first read it, I immediately thought of that episode where Mitsuki was explaining the heroin syndrome. And I'm just like, wow, that's 2 times now where this chapter ties back to the exact same episode 19.
That's always a good feeling when you catch things when you're reading it for the first time. It's always great.
And then you think back, okay, well, what is the Shinichi Arc? That's a novel. I have it actually physically in English. It's in English. It's called The Scarlet Spring and the Seventh Hokage, or The Seventh Hokage and the Scarlet Spring. I'm pretty sure it's one of those phrasings, but it's that one. And then boom, guess who's involved? Kishimoto. Kishimoto is involved in that novel being made. And now, right, he's involved with the manga, as we all know. And it's the same type of thing. So I'm looking out. I'm looking again, because I've always been looking, but I'm looking even more to anything that relates to the heroin syndrome, as how Mitsuki explained it. So yeah, that's what they're talking about. You just don't know it yet, and they're gonna tie it back around at some point. But for what Yodo says, because Yodo wasn't there when Mitsuki explained it, obviously she was in the sand. They didn't even meet ever. She's referring to something else. And then go ahead and go. Next page.
Okay. All right. So moving on to page 35. She says, Yoda herself says, I'm referring to that power you've been letting rot. And we see Sarda, she's looking down and she has the kunai in her hand, and the iron sand is grabbing onto her arm. And Rio says, how stubbornly you clinging to life. He doesn't have good grammar. You seem to be.
You don't have good grammar. What you mean?
How stubbornly you cling to life. Oh, my bad. He says, how stubbornly you cling to life. You seem to be in pain. Why don't we finish you off? So moving on to the next page.
What you mean? It's still 2 panels right there. It's him using Sarada to about to cut her down.
Yeah, she's still holding on to Sarada.
Oh, here go another Boruto episode connection. This very same thing happened again. Mitsuki arc. So 71 to 91. I forget when exactly because it was multiple fights. But it was near the end. It was closer to the second half of it than the first half of that arc. I really forgot the episode number, but either which way, there's a girl, one of the fabrications, right? If y'all don't remember, one of the fabrications that that Onoki made when Onoki was still alive. She has the power to control people like puppets by looking at her or by looking at them. And so she opens her eyes, gets in control of Sarda, gets in control of Boruto. And then she literally talking about something, how about we play with my dolls or something like that, and pins them against each other, and they're fighting each other, and they're aware that they're trying to hurt each other, but they're not literally. It's because they're under control. So now her saying literally, stop, while, Ryu is controlling her to almost stab her and finish her off. It reminded me of that too right there. Another one where she almost kills a friend or a comrade because somebody is controlling her. And for the anime version of it, or for the anime episode where this also kind of happened like that, it was Boruto like almost slicing her. So now she's on the other end of it, where she's almost slicing somebody she cares about, or comrade.
Yeah, and even though these panels I just almost skipped over them, you bring up a good point. Every panel here in the chapter means something, and there's little details in it, and they also, especially in One Piece manga, because I read One Piece manga, and they hide the littlest things in the details of the drawing. And this is really important. Yeah, Sarda's, her arms being controlled, and she's about to slaughter her comrade, who's pretty much dead.
How could I leave y'all off on a cliffhanger? And the way she gets out of it, right? The way she's out of that predicament of her and Boruto being controlled by somebody that's controlling them like puppets, right? And them fighting against each other, she's like, oh, let me use my doll to kill one of the other ones, right? They're going to fight to the death. The way she gets out of it is how she gets out of this one. Except, obviously, she doesn't have Mangekyo yet. So in the anime version, when Boruto's about to swing, because he has like a sword type of weapon, when he's about to swing, she hits herself with her Sharingan in the reflection of the sword to break herself out of that, I guess you could call it genjutsu, but out of the jutsu that was possessing her like a puppet. She uses her Sharingan to get herself out of the control of whoever's controlling her like a puppet. And then in the, couple pages. We know what happens, but go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. So we see Yodo saying, or next page, we see Yodo saying, I don't know why or what you're holding back for, but it's okay to use it for things other than just the greater good. And then we have, of course, Boruto made his way into this chapter. There's a little panel of Boruto of his back. And Yodo saying you're allowed to use it for and only for that special person in your life to protect them.
Hold on.
And that's
Is
when
that Boruto panel? Is that when
is that
he
chapter
first
1?
arrives? That looks like chapter 1 when she's behind him.
It might
When
be.
he's surrounded by the other claw grimes. That looks like what it would look like if she's behind her, like her POV of that exact moment, which is just cool because she thinks back to the first time they meet in 3 years, which makes sense, obviously, but that specific one, because they were talking, not even talking, but they were around each other for a couple chapters until he had to leave. But
it might be, yeah. But as Yodo's telling Sarada this stuff, like special person, you're allowed to use your power. She gets a flashback of Boruto, and then suddenly her Sharingan activates. Then Ryu says, "Okay, Uchiha girl, let's get go."
I'm assuming
and then
going, right? Let's get going.
Oh yeah, it cuts off at go, but let's get go.
Yeah.
And we see the iron sand is coming off of Mitsuki and Araya. It starts coming off of Sarda, and she drops the kunai, and they zoom into the kunai falling on the floor. And then Ryu says, "What the iron sand is peeling away." He's probably I don't know if he's talking to himself, but and then we see the next page 38. This is crazy. Everyone go to page 38. We see this black circular, looks like maybe it could be a spiral thing. And it's right next to Ryu, and all this iron sand is just going straight into it in like a spiral motion. And it almost looks like a black hole, like of flames. I don't know. It looks like tearing. I don't know. It looks like tearing reality a little bit, but it looks like a black hole. And then the next page, Mitsuki says, the restraints are gone. What's going on? And he looks up at the pretty much black hole. He says, the iron sand is gathering in one spot. It's being sucked in. And he looks off to Sarada. And the next page.
He corrects himself. He says it's gathering in one spot. He says, no, it's being sucked in.
Oh, you're right. He does say that. So he does say no, yeah.
They're trying to emphasize it's not a regular thing. It's not Ryu. I'm about to say Yuri. It's not Ryu doing that. It's something else. This is something else. It's being sucked in. They're emphasizing it. So that's cool. But see that right there? That's what I was saying of the anime similar moment and this similar moment. In the anime, boom, Sharingan. This is when she had it was one Tomoe right now. Yeah, this one she still had one Tomoe, or a little thingy in the eye, if people don't know. She reflects it off the sword to get herself out of it. And then now, to get herself out of somebody using her like a puppet, like in the anime, she, boom, Mangekyo ability. It's just so cool how they do it.
So,
where,
that's a great point. He did say no, and he says it's being sucked in. He's questioning and shocked. So that's pretty much confirming, yes, it's like sucking in like a black hole. The next 2 pages, which is the last 2 pages of the chapter, is just epic. We see Sarada standing there, and then it zooms into her eye, and you see the Mangekyo. And the very last page, Mitsuki says her eyes are Mangekyo Sharingan. And it's just so, the way she's turning and looking It's just so epic to see. And I saw someone compare this on the Two Blue Vortex community on X. Someone took this panel right here of Sarada looking with her eyes and compared it to Obito at like a same kind of position panel. So this is just, it's going to be epic in the anime. But now we're at the point. Now we're at the point where everyone can join us in the chat here, and let's talk about what we think about this Mangekyo Sharingan ability, because this is like
it's a slow
crazy.
turn when they do this panel, right? Looking at us, but looking towards Miski's direction. I hope it's one of those slow turns, slow head turns, because that would be so cool. But even if it isn't, it's still, impactful. Because this has no movement and it was impactful. And now if it's in motion in the anime, oh my God. But yeah, it's just so crazy. They ended it off on the cliffhanger.
Are we confirming that Saradas Mangekyo is a black hole ability? Is it a dimension?
I mean, there could be theories and predictions. I don't think we can assume what it is right now, though.
I think because of the relation, right? You brought up the Obito panel of similar composition where he's looking forward or at us, and it's him and his Mangekyo. That was when he was what? Jubi, right? He was the Jubi Jinchuriki. That was that one. I don't remember exactly when, but because they're bringing up all these things, it's pushing them towards like, oh my God, this is like I'm about to say Shisui. This is like Obito. Her abilities like Obito. She won't become Hokage just like Obito did. Even the situation of how things happen.
Exactly, that's what they were saying.
Like Boruto cut his eye.
Yeah, it's like
Kakashi cut his eye. Well, not cut his eye.
Sarada's the Uchiha that went down the path that Obito was supposed to go on.
They're saying all that, right? But then they're going a little too far with it's Kamui and all that. Like, no, it's clearly not Kamui. But also, even though I thought of this a while back, I don't know how sure I am that I could bet that it's a black hole type ability. It probably is, and I hope it is, because then I'll be vindicated again.
Well, Blonde Hanada says Sarada Mangekyo is magnet like black hole and attracts metal. I think, personally, here's my opinion and my theory. My theory is that Sarada's Mangekyo ability is a black hole of things that she has touched. So if she's touched it, she can attract it. Yeah, kind of like a magnet. But if she has touched it,
like the Phantom Drive in Man of Steel.
I'm not familiar with that.
So Superman movie in Man of Steel, when near the third act, at the end of near the end of the movie, when they have to figure out a way to destroy the big ass like machine that's terraforming the Earth, right? They think, oh, you know where we could send it? We could send it to the Phantom Zone, and they have a Phantom Drive, which is the mechanism to even access the Phantom Zone. And all they got to do is collide it with that machine. It'll make a black hole in the sky, and it'll selectively only suck up, the things that have already been in the Phantom Zone. So it's like that or it just reminds me of that if that it really is what it would be, where it's only things that she's come in contact with. It reminds me of the Phantom Drive, where only things, and that's also why Lois Lane was falling, right? If it's an actual black hole, she shouldn't be falling. She would be going up into it. That's why she was falling, but everything else was getting sucked in, or damn near everything else. Same with Superman. Superman was getting sucked in. That's why you had to fly real hard and fast to get away. Because it's specific. It's a selective. It's like a whitelist, right? Certain things could come in, certain things could come out. or won't be affected. So that would be cool because it would remind me of the Phantom Drive in Man of Steel. But I think it's a black hole, white hole thing, like somebody said in the comments or in the chat. I mean, a black hole, white hole thing. And this, I swear on everything, right? I thought of this a while ago. I'm not, oh, yeah. But I know if I'm making these connections with everything else that's happening in the chapters to other anime episodes, or just like, oh my God, this reminds me of this, right? I might be getting something, right? And it was episode 8, right? Early Boruto. Imagine you skip this shit, you would look so dumb right now. Episode 8, Boruto is talking about some darkness that is more dazzling than light. This is when he was cosplaying and he had the Kagemasa glasses on, or goggles on, whatever. And he was saying something. It sounded like gibberish, or it sounded like, what is he talking about? He just reading some shit off a movie? Or he just reading some movie lines? But no, because that applies to this day. It's applying to what's going on right now. Goddess of Destiny, that's clearly Ada. The light that'll dispel the darkness, darkness that is nearly lethal and intoxicating, all that, everything that he said. Really go back and watch episode 8 before they leave to go to the Hyuga house, and he's just doing shit in the house. They're like, matter of fact, Himawari was even saying, Big Brother is acting weird. Yeah, because they want you to think that. They want you to think that until, boom, mind blown moment. And you like, oh my God, this is what they were talking about. You know what I mean? It's one of those. And it goes back to that payoff. These people want immediate payoff. That's not how it works. So you better not be upset, right? But yeah, he was saying that. And so this was probably like a couple years minimum. So at minimum 2 years ago, I was writing this down, and I have it somewhere in my notes. Literally, it says black hole power, white hole power, Boruto, and all that. And it was just me sketching out, or not even sketching out, but brainstorming ideas about it. And what I was thinking of back then is what I still think now, obviously. And now I have even more evidence pointing me towards that way. But I can't be for sure until the future, and I can't tell the future, right? I'm thinking, right, it makes so much sense. Boruto and Sarada are connected more than we think. Oh yeah, they're friends. No, they're connected way more than we think. I think it's a black hole, white hole. Because look at Boruto's eye. Literally looks like a white hole. If her eye is a black hole sun, right? Because the sun explodes, it turns into a black hole. And then the opposite, which is Boruto, his shit is a black square with a white pupil and all the white inside, right? For the Jogan. Black hole, white hole. See what I'm saying? So I'm thinking it's something to do with that. Somehow they're gonna work. Their abilities will work together. The Jogan and Saradas Mangekyo. So for now, it'll look like we know. Once they tell us more about it, it'll look like we know everything about how it works, and then boom, it'll be even more. And what that could be, what scenario that is, or what situation that is, where we'll see it. It's exactly what Boruto said in episode 8. And that's exactly what Toneri said too. Toneri said it in episode 8 too, in the dream sequence. This is before that part where he's just rambling on about nothing, right? Oh, we thought. So he says, Toneri tells Boruto that those eyes, right, talking about the Jogan, or well, not those eyes, but that eye, right, because he only has one, that eye will guide you to the light that will dispel darkness. And I'm like, okay, who could that have been? Because it for damn sure ain't Naruto. Naruto could never be the light that dispels darkness, right? And it for damn sure ain't Kaoki. So it gotta be Sarada. how could she dispel the darkness? Well, he continues and he's like, yeah, he's going to take away some protection, some divine protection that the goddess of destiny has. That's Ada and Damon probably. Just go back and look at that right there. And you're like, oh my God, this is what they're about to do in the future. And you're going to sound crazy, like y'all probably think I do right now, because it's not come out to fruition. But I know they do not do these things for no reason, especially in the anime. Even though people like to lie and tell you that, oh, no, it just doesn't matter. It matters. They just can't see it, right? So if you go back and look at it, and then you keep watching or keep following with what's going on in current events in the manga, you will see it. I'm telling you. And when you see it, you're just going to be mind blown,
All right. So I would just want to thank Watch Boruto and Boruto Fan for pulling up and everyone else that showed up. We are coming to the end of the Chapter 20 review. Thank you for sticking around and listening. Just a shout out to Assad on X here, and shout out to the Boruto Club, where we have twobluevortex.com. That's our community blog. We have the link to Boruto Podcast, borutopodcast.com. We're on Spotify, YouTube. Join our Discord. It's borutopodcast.com/invite. In there, you guys can host podcasts yourself and get them on the site. And we can do more talking there about the podcast and organizing things there. We just released a new website on Boruto Club called Boruto Legends. It is boruto.gg. That is for role playing if you're interested in that. And yeah, thanks for coming along. Stay tuned. We will be announcing a reschedule with Michael Schwab in the near future. So thanks for sticking around.
This is for the people that are still here, okay? And listening, if you couldn't be here when it was being recorded. So the episodes that I was telling y'all, again, 19, that's for snitching and for the heroin syndrome. Episode 10 for Sarada believing in Boruto. And then I forget which exact episode, but it's in between 71 and 91, because that's the Miski arc where he goes away from the village, right? One of those episodes, probably near the 80s, past like 81, most likely, like maybe 84, 85. That one is being controlled by puppets, right? That's that episode. And then episode 8 is for the black hole, white hole theory. Look at all those right there, and that is, you'll see exactly what I'm seeing. I'm not going to sound crazy. You'll see it. But those are the episodes 10, 19, not in that order. 10, 19, 80 something, and then episode 8. Those are the 4 episodes, and this is why the anime is so much better than the manga, right? Those are the 4 episodes. You go back and watch, read this, boom, connection. All these episodes matter. Do not skip anything. If you skip, it's it sucks
You
for
skip,
you.
go back and rewatch it.
Go back and rewatch, and now don't believe anybody when
This
they
is
tell
coming
you.
from Watch Boruto.
Don't believe anybody when they
Watch
tell you
Boruto
none
himself.
of these episodes matter, or certain episodes don't matter. I know. I have watched Boruto. There's 293 episodes. I've watched at least like 1,500 episodes worth, because that was at least 5 times. Really 6 times, but whatever. And now I'm watching the dub, right? Just to see if there's any differences in dialogue. And not too much. Maybe just a couple English phrasing, but either way, I've watched it. Everything. I know why these episodes are important. So when they tell you they're not, just know they probably don't know what they're talking about. And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, go watch them episodes I said. 8, 10, 19, 80 something. I forget which episode that is because I've seen too much. That they all start to blend together. I forget where one ends and where one starts. But if you watch those, watch them for the reasons that I said, right? The connections of how it connects to this, just this chapter. It's one chapter, it connects to 4 different episodes. Whether it be just similar situations or literal, like, oh, they were telling us about this way back then. Right.
This is also the 100th chapter,
Oh yeah,
right?
this is the
100th.
Clap it up. 100 chapters of Boruto.
Yeah.
80 for part 1 and 20 for this part. Hopefully way more to come, right? We don't know when it's gonna end, but hopefully it's at least 200 more. Hell no, I never want it to end, but I know it will.
You're fine. This is too much fun.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah, thanks for joining.
Yeah, it wasn't too many people that requested up. I don't know why.
But yeah, I was like agreeing, like the whole black hole, white hole thing makes a whole lot of sense, not only because of those episodes, which I know what you're talking about, because I'm recently like doing this rewatch of all the episodes of Boruto, so that when the Blue Vortex like anime comes out, I'm like ready, right? But one of the big things that Naruto in general is like has hinted towards, or like a big piece of symbolism that Naruto has, not just Boruto, but Naruto, is Naruto's relationship with like star symbolism, right? As you know, a big reason why the anime depicts the chakra as blue, or most people's chakra as blue, is because that higher concentrations of oxygen come out to be like a blue hue. And a big reason why chakra is blue is because chakra in Buddhism is pretty much just people using techniques like breathing and hand signs to control the flow of oxygen to different parts of their body. This is another reason why, Naruto different transformations look like the combustion of oxygen, and then eventually at the end, it's like, I think, nuclear fusion, all things that oxygen undergoes in its process to becoming a star. It's another reason why, Kurama, a big piece of his lore or symbolism is that Kurama's chakra is shown to be like a golden or orangish color. When hydrogen explodes, that is like the color that it comes off as. And because of how reactive hydrogen is, it makes sense that a figure like Kurama was influencing Naruto's emotions earlier on in the series like he was. So when you go back into Boruto, right, there's always this parallel between the relationship that Sarada has with Naruto and wanting to become the Hokage. And so when we see her have this like white hole, black hole ability after the nuclear fusion base transformation that Naruto has in Baryon mode, it makes sense that she would have that as an ability to kind of symbolize her relationship as like the end of Naruto's legacy going on forward to become something much more powerful, you know?
Well, see, that's where I think different. I don't think she has a black hole, white hole thing. I think she's a part of a black hole, white hole thing with Boruto because of the white.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
In Boruto,
like, I agree.
You know,
I think that that was just like gives more credence to the black hole white hole theory. Obviously, at the end of Supernova is a black hole, right? And Baryon Mode Naruto's or the death of Kurama in Naruto was supposed to symbolize the collapse of a star, right? Because of all the similarities that Naruto has had through the birth and death of a star throughout his whole entire arc, throughout the entire saga, right? But yeah, there's a lot of symbolism around that.
Yeah, never forget this story. Whenever they chapter 1, he says, "This is my story," and they can't help it. My dad in it. This story is not a Boruto story. It's not a Boruto Naruto story. It's not a Boruto Kawaki story. This story is a Boruto and Sarada story.
Exactly. You see this in episode 1 of the anime. This is why I say that the anime does a much better job of representing certain themes than the anime does. Not just in Boruto, but in the original Naruto and Naruto Shippuden.
And we know that because Kishimoto, and we do mean Kishimoto, this is not one of those where, Kishimoto said this, and he never said that.
Yeah.
We know for a fact Kishimoto was literally saying in an interview, I forget who it was probably with Weekly Shonen Jump though, where he was telling them, I'm thinking of a story about Boruto and Sarada. Like, come on now, that's the most concrete,
this blatant.
Answer.
That's so blatant.
It's so blatant that it's Boruto and Sarada's story.
Like, you would be stupid to think differently after hearing a quote like that.
Exactly. So it's Boruto's and Sarada. That's why she's gonna become the Hokage, or she wants to be. We don't know. And everything is pushing Boruto and Sarada. Look at right now's chapters. It's pushing her. Look at whenever Boruto comes back, it'll push him.
I think another cool thing about her ability, like a white hole in physics is supposed to be the opposite of a black hole, right? It pushes out tons and tons of matter and light that it changes the matter that it shoots out, right? So I guess if her ability is to suck in different chakras, it could be like she has an arsenal of different types of chakra moves that she could use at her disposal against certain enemies in different situations.
Well, if Boruto
later on,
is the white hole,
so it's Momoshiki. It's like Momoshiki, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of like Momoshiki.
He could repel, or he could absorb and then repel again and multiply it, magnify it. But no, I was thinking if she's the black hole and he's the white hole, we've already seen the white hole dispel stuff. Remember? Episode
Resident
12 or 13. There go another one for y'all. If whoever's listening, watch 12 or 13. I think it was 13 though. I'm pretty sure. Episode 13, when he's about to stop Sumire and Mitsuki from starting to fight each other, first off, he was fast as shit, right? Fast, but he stopped in between them and then grabbed them, or grabbed what they were trying to, lunge at each other with. Well, he only grabbed Sumire's. Mitsuki stopped himself because it's Mitsuki. He's not going to hurt Boruto. Yep. This is before Omnipotence, so we can't because of now. But he literally stops them, says, "What are y'all doing? Are y'all trying to, whatever, lecturing them?" And then boom, Jogon, a bunch of lightning coming out of it, right? Speaking of white hole, throwing out stuff, throwing out light, throwing out matter. Lightning pops out of it, and then boom, Nue teleports over, eats her, boom, boom, boom. But still, the white hole right there, that's a white hole literally ejecting stuff out of it with his
Exactly.
with lightning.
Yeah,
So
lightning. Lightning is also like a plasma.
Yeah, it's also plasma. It could have, yeah, either way. This white hole, black hole theory, I'm thinking it's that. But if it's not that, then okay, doesn't matter. But I hope it's that, because I have been thinking that for the longest, ever since
I guess
back then.
I guess the relationship could be more symbolic, but I would love it to be more physical than that. You know?
Yeah.
That would, yeah. But like as I was saying, lightning is shown to be a plasma, and plasma is what you get when you superheat gases or just matter in general, and then super compress it to the point where it cannot sustain its own form without destroying or burning or burning through itself. Right? It's the reason why lightning or plasma in our world lasts for like a split second, right? You can't faster than the blink of an eye because it cannot sustain itself with that much energy in one space, right? And honestly, that's one of the things that creates black holes, is that a super dense, compact matter gets so dense that it gets to the point where two things start to go into the same place at once, which is something that is impossible. So it just removes them from the universe entirely, right? But yeah, there's a lot of credence to that.